March 2011. A private jet is landing in Libya. The passenger? Ian Taylor, CEO of Vitol Group. Libya is in the middle of a civil war. NATO is bombing Gaddafi's forces. Cities are burning. And Ian Taylor? Well, he's flying into the war zone. Why? Because his company just made a deal that could decide who wins this war. You've probably never heard of Vitol. Most people haven't, but they're the largest oil trader on Earth, bigger than most countries. And somehow they're about to bankroll a revolution. Let's rewind. February 2011, Muammar Gaddafi, 42 years in power. He calls the protesters rats, cockroaches. Libya explodes. Protesters fill the streets. They want Gaddafi gone. Within weeks, the rebels control half the country. They've got Benghazi, they've got the oil fields. They've got AK-47s, pickup trucks, and a lot of hope. They form a government, the National Transitional Council. Teachers, lawyers, defected soldiers. But here's their problem. Libya's money? Frozen. $150 billion. It's locked in banks around the world. Sanctioned. They're sitting on oil. Billions of barrels. Africa's largest reserves. But their trucks are out of gas. Right, think of it like this. You've robbed a bank. You're inside. But the cash is in a vault that you can't crack. Yeah, and the cops are coming. That was the rebels in 2011. They had the prize, but they just couldn't use it. So they called all the big oil companies, the Shells, the BPs. Everyone said no. Too risky, too political, too insane. Then someone else stepped up. Qatar. They were backing the rebels. Jets, weapons, money. But the rebels needed fuel. And Qatar needed a supplier crazy enough to deliver it. So they called Vitol, the biggest oil trader on Earth. 300 billion a year. That's more than Apple, and you've probably never heard of them. Early 2011, Vitol's Dubai office. A call comes in from Qatar. Would Vitol supply fuel to the rebels? They had 4 hours to decide. They said yes in 4 minutes. Yes, they were interested. But this isn't a normal deal. Okay, Western governments, they backed the rebels, and they tacitly approved. But there's no official support, no guarantees. And the risks? If the rebels lose, Vitol's out hundreds of millions. If sanctions shift, they could face prosecution. If something goes wrong, Vitol is on its own. This needed more than just a phone call. This needed their CEO, Ian Taylor, in person in Benghazi. Ian Taylor, Oxford educated, Scottish roots, started at Shell in '78. A corporate job, safe. They sent him to Singapore, then Caracas. He learned the trade. How oil moves, how money flows. Get done. 1985, he joins Vitol. 10 years later, he runs it under Taylor. Vitol explodes. 95. Profit, 23 million. 2009. Profit, 2.3 billion. 100 times bigger. In 14 years, he went places others wouldn't. April 2011, Taylor boards a plane. Geneva to Benghazi. His board thinks he's lost his mind. Most CEOs wouldn't do this. They'd send a negotiator, a lawyer, someone expendable. Not Ian Taylor. He's going himself. Because Libya, it's not a boardroom. It's a battlefield. Gaddafi's forces, they're still bombing. Daily, the plane can't land normally, so the pilot banks hard. Sharp turns, stomach-churning drops. The ground rushes up. They land. Benghazi. This isn't Heathrow. There are armed men everywhere. The city itself, it's a lot of dusty buildings. It's an active war zone. Taylor gets in a vehicle, drives through checkpoints, past suspicious fighters, to the meeting point. Inside, the rebel council. 6 weeks ago, these men were civilians. Taylor walks in. No translator, no lawyers, no security team. Just him and a deal to make. They shake hands. No 50-page contract, just a handshake worth $1 billion. Vitol ships fuel into a war zone. Gasoline, diesel, fuel oil. Its payment? In crude oil. Eventually. Maybe. Taylor leaves, gets back on the plane, and flies out. Within days, Vitol tankers are moving. Gasoline, diesel, fuel oil. The rebels can move again. A rebel official said it plainly. The fuel from Vitol was very important for the military. But then, the rebels announced the deal. Publicly. Gaddafi hears. He blows up the pipeline. The oil that was supposed to pay Vitol, gone. Now Vitol's owed over $1 billion. So Taylor has a choice. Stop the shipments, cut your losses, walk away. Not Taylor. He keeps shipping. Years later, he admitted it. It was a deal which got much larger than it should have. But he didn't stop. Why? Here's how Taylor saw it. If the rebels lose, Vitol gets nothing anyway. But if they win, Vitol gets paid and a seat at the table in Africa's richest oil nation. All or nothing. Taylor went all in. His convoy is hit outside of Sirte. They find him. The war is over. The rebels won. And the oil? It starts flowing again. Vitol gets paid. Every barrel. Paid in full. Taylor called it a reasonable gamble. October 2011. The rebels won, but it didn't last. The militia soon turned on each other. Two governments, civil war again. Today, still no stable government. The revolution which Vitol helped fuel, it never quite finished. But Vitol thrived. That's how they operate. Quietly, in the shadows. It's one of a handful of companies which moves the world's oil. Vitol has 350 partners, 25 billion in payouts over the last 15 years. Their CEO said it plainly. Opportunity is defined externally. Instability, disruption, crisis. They see opportunity. They don't pick sides. They facilitate. Governments fall, regimes change. But the traders, they're always there, waiting for the next deal. Taylor flew into a war zone. No contract, no safety net. Shook hands on $1 billion. Kept shipping when the pipeline burned. Helped fuel a revolution that never really ended. Was it brave, reckless, heroic, or just business? These companies don't deal in heroes and villains. They deal in oil. And oil doesn't care who wins.